They weren't just fighters, they were rebels. In a sport full of fake smiles and planned rivalries, the Diaz brothers were raw, real, and unapologetically wild. Born in Stockton, they didn't just fight, they went to war, inside and outside the cage. But what happens when legends refuse to play by the rules? They fought against the system, against those who doubted them, and against the idea that they needed to be someone else. Nick Diaz was the first, the older brother with a grudge and a fighting style that was both beautiful and brutal. When he stepped into the UFC cage for the first time in 2003, the world saw a fighter who didn't just throw punches. He overwhelmed his opponents with them. His win over Robbie Lawler in 2004 was a masterpiece. Lawler, a dangerous striker, was supposed to knock Nick out. But instead, Nick took him down, talked trash during the fight, and knocked Lawler out cold. Stockton slap, a phrase that became famous.
He stays tight and he holds on to
But Nick's story wasn't just about winning. It was about standing up to the system. Banned many times for using marijuana, Nick became a symbol of rebellion in a sport where fighters were told to follow the rules. He wasn't just fighting opponents, he was fighting the system. And in 2015, the system hit back. After his fight with Anderson Silva at UFC 183, Nick tested positive for marijuana. The Nevada State Athletic Commission came down hard. 5 years of suspension and a $165,000 fine. For weed, it was a punishment that shocked the MMA world, causing chaos. Fans, fighters, even celebrities defended him. They saw the punishment as unfair, a brutal reminder of how far the sport needed to go. But Nick didn't stay down. After a fight with the commission, the suspension was reduced to 18 months and the fine lowered to $100,000. After many arguments with the UFC, he left in 2015, only to make a shocking return in 2021 against Robbie Lawler. He returned, but the scars remained. This time, age and time gave him away. He lost, but he didn't lose his pride. In later interviews, including a 2025 docuseries, Dark Side of the Cage, Nick explained his use of marijuana not just as fun but as a way to deal with his attention deficit disorder, calm his mind, and avoid pills that made him feel numb. It wasn't about rebellion, it was about survival. He spoke out about low pay, called out fake fighters, and made it clear that he fought for respect, not just money. Then there was Nate Diaz, the younger brother who seemed to live in Nick's shadow, until he didn't. Nate was already doing well in the UFC, known for his endless stamina, sharp boxing, and smooth jiu-jitsu. But everything changed in 2016. When Rafael dos Anjos couldn't fight Conor McGregor, Nate stepped in with just 11 days' notice. The fight was wild. McGregor landed big shots. Nate bled, but he didn't back down. And then it happened. A shocked McGregor tapped to a choke. Nate grabbed the mic and gave the world one of the most famous lines in UFC history. "I'm not surprised, motherfuckers." That night, Nate Diaz became a star. The rematch with McGregor was even bigger. A 5-round war that ended in a close decision win for Conor. But for many, Nate was the real winner. A fighter who wasn't supposed to win but refused to stay quiet. He became the anti-hero of the UFC. The fighter who didn't care about fame but somehow became a global name. As Nate's fame grew, Nick's future became unclear. Legal fights, bans, and constant issues with the UFC kept him out of the cage. But even outside of fighting, the Diaz brothers stayed in the spotlight. Their training clips, their bold interviews, their no-regrets lifestyle, it all kept fans hooked. In 2023, Nate tried something new, stepping into the boxing ring against Jake Paul. It was a crazy fight, with Jake knocking Nate down early, but Nate kept going, taking Jake to the final bell. Jake won on points. Then in 2024, Nate finally got his rematch with George Masvidal, another fan favorite who had beaten Nate for the BMF title in 2019. This time, Nate won, a close decision that proved he still had it. But trouble followed. Nate said he was promised $10 million for the fight but got only $1 million. Legal battles started, but Nate's spirit stayed the same. He was a fighter, inside and outside the ring. Nick, meanwhile, stayed in the news without fighting. Rumors of a comeback kept coming, but nothing was certain. He was set to fight Vicente Luque in 2024, but the fight was cancelled. Some say Nick lost his passion, while others think he's just waiting for the right time. Colby Covington's recent challenge to the Diaz brothers has fans dreaming of a showdown. Colby, who's always been a master of drama, knows exactly what he's doing. Calling out the Diaz brothers is like throwing fuel on a fire. Nick versus Colby, the Stockton veteran against the loudmouth wrestler. Nate versus Colby, a clash between two men who never back down. But it's not just about the hype. For the Diaz brothers, it's about legacy. Nick's comeback, proving he still has the fire. Nate's rebellion, refusing to fade away. And for Colby, it's a chance to reclaim his spotlight by facing two legends. Yet the Diaz brothers aren't just names, they're a mindset. A mindset that never bows down, never sells out. In a world of business deals and fake smiles, they are raw, unfiltered. Whether they fight again or not, their legacy is already written in blood. But imagine it, one last stand for the brothers who never backed down. Will they take Colby's challenge? Will we see Stockton's finest in the Octagon once more? Tell us in the comments, who would win, Diaz versus Colby Covington? And will the Diaz brothers once again bring chaos to the UFC?